welcome. My name is Kelly Mountain. I'm with Goddess Modern, and this is your tarot and astrology reading for the Cancer full moon that we're having on Monday, January 13th, 2025. This is our first full moon of the year 2025, and it's a really powerful moon for a number of reasons. First of all, today on January 11th, we have the lunar nodes of fate changing sign. They've been in Aries and Libra for the last 18 months, and today they turn into Pisces and Virgo. So this is a very different energy. We're going from Aries and Libra, which are masculine fire and air elements, into Pisces and Virgo, which are feminine water and earth elements. So if you know what your rising sign is in your birth chart for astrology, and if you know what houses Pisces and Virgo rules, you can pinpoint where the lunar nodes of fate are now going to be inhabiting your birth chart and interacting with your birth chart and your transits, and the transits that happen over the next 18 months. Yeah, it's also a really powerful moon because we're going to have Mars closely conjunct this full moon coming up, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that in the reading as we go. And we also have this full moon in a positive aspect with Neptune. I guess what I'll just say about that energy for now is we have Mars in Cancer, which is considered the sign of fall for the archetype of Mars, and Mars is also retrograde right now. So I feel like what this is asking us is to review where we have some old stagnant emotions of resentment or anger, frustration, you know, maybe even to a more extreme degree, rage. You know, where do we have these stuck, lingering emotions inside? And how can we consciously connect with them, work with them, transform and heal them? How can we bring the Cancerian energies of healing and feminine energy and, in a sense, be the mother to that hurt child part of ourselves that the retrograde Mars energy might be illuminating? Illuminating is a key word for the full moon, for any full moon. Specifically with a Cancer full moon, which is what this reading is for, it's illuminating our emotions. And so, you know, where can we, in a sense, be the inner mother to the part of ourselves that's like the wounded child within? It's definitely a better time to do conscious internal work with the emotional energy, to be introspective, reflective, and do deeper transformational work, and find appropriate outlets of either physical activity, like if you feel like you are being confronted with energies of anger and frustration and resentment and or rage, you know, like how can you consciously work with these energies? Well, we've got Mars in the mix, right? We're talking about Mars conjunct this full moon in Cancer. So with Mars, you want to put that energy through physical activity. And so if you can, you know, do self-care practices that involve physical activity or things like creativity, because Cancer is a very creative influence, and it's also about like the deeper emotional space. So creativity is a really great outlet for, you know, processing and just moving and helping to understand, helping to heal and nurture that emotional landscape within. And or, you know, it's a really great time to reach out for you know, perhaps some professional support, you know, if you're feeling like you need more than what you can do on your own, or if you feel like you need more than what, say, your family or friends can offer you. It's a great time to, you know, reach out for professional support to see how you can best work with these energies. And I think this is a better way to work with the energy of this upcoming full moon, rather than, you know, the tendency, and just FYI, a little just tip, a suggestion. The tendency is going to be, you know, Mars really has a tendency, that aspect, that part of us, that archetypal expression within us has a tendency to want to be impulsive, and it can be rash in its expression and its choices. So, you know, it's not, while there's like, you know, sometimes in life it's appropriate to be impulsive and it's a really good skill to know how to be impulsive in a constructive, creative way. But typically, if we're fueled by emotions of anger and frustration, resentment or rage, the impulsivity is most likely not gonna really work in our favor for the long term, even if it's something that in the short term might feel really good for, you know, 30 minutes a day, maybe a few days. But, you know, after a few nights sleeping on it, you might come to a point of clarity and realization of like, oh gosh, I wish I really didn't do that. So, you know, just save yourself the trouble and take, you know, go on a more inward journey and kind of understand on a psychological level more about these parts of yourself. And because Cancer can be about like where we have old stagnant emotion, like where do we have unprocessed parts of ourselves that are still needing to move and just be free and express, because that's, in essence, it's just energy, right? That's all it is. It's like all emotion is. That's all everything is, right? So it's just energy, and it just wants to, like, it needs an opportunity, like, to be and to be acknowledged and express and just like move kind of up and out, right? But when for whatever reason we don't either give ourselves that opportunity, or like maybe the context isn't really appropriate for it, you know, we we'll kind of like stuff it down, right? And we'll repress it. And we just want to make sure with this full moon conjunct Mars energy that we're not repressing emotions of anger and frustration and resentment, because the more we do that, and especially if it's a chronic pattern over time, that's how we create disease in our body. Because the energy, again, it's just energy. It needs a place to move, and instead of, if we don't let it come up and out in a healthy, constructive way, and if we repress it down instead, that's where it becomes like chronic physical illnesses. And I mentioned a moment ago how this full moon on Monday, January 13th, it's also in a nice harmonious aspect with the planet Neptune. And that's so great and so perfect, because so Neptune is in Pisces, and Neptune, the higher kind of expressions of Neptune is forgiveness and healing and oneness and connection to the divine and creativity as a source of connection to the divine. And so, you know, see, and you know, these are all like really beautiful words, right? Forgiveness, unconditional love, seeing the divine in oneself and the other. These are all like really pretty words for processes that are actually quite difficult, that require us to do quite some, you know, especially if you're not really used to the work of forgiveness and healing. It can be hard to confront these parts of ourselves, to really go there to a place where we truly can forgive, and we truly can heal ourselves through the forgiveness and seeing the divinity in ourselves and the other and whatever the situation is, and all of the beauty and all of the flaws, and just love it as an expression of God, Goddess, the universe, life, source, whatever you want to call it, right? So just understand that these are some of the energetics at play. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we've got the lunar nodes of fate turning into Pisces and Virgo right now, and the North Node. So this is going to be the axis in the astrology chart where the upcoming eclipse cycles for the next 18 months are happening. And eclipses are very powerful, transformational, transitional points in our life. And so the North Node is going to be in Pisces, which is the sign that the modern rulership is Neptune, and the traditional rulership is Jupiter. So, you know, Pisces, it's all about like these things that I was just mentioning, you know, oneness, consciousness, unconditional love, connection to divinity, creativity as an expression of the divine, healing. And so that is where in the next year and a half, we're going to have that part of ourselves actually being amplified and expanded, and we're going to be growing more into that part of ourselves. So this is, so just for you to understand kind of just the energetics behind this full moon, it's a really powerful lunation actually, because it's not only starting a new 1.5-year cycle for the eclipses coming up, but it's actually starting a new 18-year cycle, because it's been about 18 years since we've had the North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo. So if you know, you can even track back if you can remember and, you know, just kind of think about like what was happening in your life around 18 years ago. And, you know, chances are there's going to be kind of like a coming back around to some of those energies and dynamics in your life. And I'll get into the tarot here in just a sec. I guess I just want to wrap up the intro here by just saying, the way that this stuff works, astrology and tarot, it's archetypally predictive. It's not concretely predictive. So, you know, it's not about like grabbing on to specific details or trying to find like which details are precisely on point for you. It's more about like recognizing patterns of energy, patterns of experience, you know, patterns of, you know, just like actions and choices, and seeing if there's any relevance. And you'll know if there's any relevance because you'll feel it. We've got a Cancer full moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and it's also a water sign. So we're going deep into our feelings with this Cancer full moon and into the energy of this reading here. And it's one of the most intuitive signs. And so you will know if this reading is for you because you'll feel it on an intuitive level. And as some of you may know, the intuitive part of ourselves, sometimes it works on a level that we don't understand logically, but we just feel it. And so if you feel any kind of resonance, all you need to do is just simply from this reading onward, just simply keep opening yourself up. You know, maybe write in a journal, you know, write in your journal about like what you feel is resonant and coming up for you, or just take note and just allow it to be a seed of reflection that with the tending and, you know, the watering of your attention over time, you know, bringing it into your meditation and reflective practices, allow it to continue to grow and reveal what it is for you. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I pull from a lot of different decks. I lit candles, I cleanse my space, cleanse myself, I cleanse all the decks. I said a prayer of intention. I already shuffled and pulled the decks. So let's go ahead and jump into the tarot reading. Okay, so I thought it was so cool that the first card I drew for this Cancer full moon reading for you all, for the collective, is Cozy Home, which, I mean, if you're familiar with the archetypes of Cancer, it's like cozy home. Cancer, that's like Cancer's domain is the cozy home. So here's cozy home. Meet Shrine. He loves to curl in a fluffy ball of appreciation and take in the calm, cozy expanse of his home. Create a sanctuary of peace and inspiration. Let go of objects that don't make you happy. If there are broken items that you have been meaning to fix, unused gifts, or remnants of a passionless hobby, send those things on their way. Clear the space and surround yourself only with the things that support you and make your heart sing with the joy of being alive. Light a candle, open a window, be thankful for all that you have. Sit with Shrine in your lap and honor your home. Well, that is a great place to start for this Cancer full moon, not only because of the cozy home, but, just as I was saying, like it says, light a candle, open a window, clear your space, be thankful for all you have, sit with Shrine in your lap and honor your home. It's like, it's like, in another way to say it, it's like create spaces of introspection and reflection for yourself at this time. And it's similar to what I was just saying right at the beginning of this video about like the full moon conjunct Mars energy. Like, if you notice that you've got some anger, frustration, some resentment, some rage coming up, your way out is to actually go deeper in and to do it with a curiosity of like, okay, how, and with this stuff sometimes too, like with dealing with challenging emotions, sometimes the trick is just understanding it's not about trying to make the emotion itself different. Oftentimes it's about making our relationship to the emotion different. Oftentimes it's the relationship to the feelings that is where we really need to do the work. So cozy home, Shrine. I'm going to continue onward. I'm just going to take a quick sip here. All right. Got a few decks that I pulled from here, and I'll start with this first one. I've got the Fool in reverse and the Ten of Cups. So Fool in reverse, so I just want to say something's coming through really quick with the moon conjunct Mars. Another really constructive way to work with the energy of this full moon, with the Mars in Cancer retrograde, it's a good time to review and kind of reassess areas in your life that you can create some, like a new plan of initiation around. Areas in your life where you can create a plan of initiation around that are like something that you've worked on from the past already. So it's not a brand new kind of an inspiration, but if, like, in a sense, if there was something from the past that you had an inspiration on that you wanted to initiate and for whatever reason you just hadn't quite got there yet, this is actually another really constructive way to work with this full moon energy. This is a great way to come back to something from the past and start to kind of reassess, review, revise, kind of get your game plan down, do like the behind the scenes work that you need to do. And then when Mars goes direct, it's like February 23rd. And it'll be in Cancer until, I believe, mid-April, April 16th. But when Mars goes direct, starting in February 23rd, what you could do is then start taking action on the game plan. So just FYI, like, that's a really, really good way to channel this energy and to channel your focus. Okay. And this part of why I'm saying that is because the Fool in reverse, the Fool upright it's time for a new journey. like a brand new journey. This is like the seed of a new journey beginning. So in the reverse, for me, this is not about starting something brand spanking new. Just FYI, you don't want to start something brand new during a retrograde cycle of a personal planet, which is Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn. It's ideally you want to have those planets in forward motion when you're starting something brand new. But in retrograde motion, with these planets, it's perfect timing to bring something back from the past that you're ready to revise and kind of revamp and get in a good position, so that when the planet goes direct again, you're gonna have all this clarity to and all this kind of, you're gonna have a clear game plan, a clear path ahead to take action on. So that's part of what's coming up to me for this Fool in reverse. And so it's also coming up with the 10 of Cups. So what this is saying to me, so the 10 of Cups is what we see when, it's like one of the ultimate happiness cards of the entire tarot. You've got this happy family here. There's this sunshine, rainbow light. You've got these 10 full cups. The cups in tarot relates to the water element, which represents our emotional experience of life and fulfillment. So this is this is a very dreamy, happy, fulfilled card. And so it makes me wonder for you, what from the past that's connected to this 10 of Cups energy for you, what from the past is ready to come back around and, be reassessed, reviewed, revised, kind of redone in a way, right? So I'm gonna keep going with the reading and we'll circle back to that if it's relevant. Under the deck, I have the Hermit in reverse. And so Hermit upright is when we're going within. We're really going within to find our own inner light, our own inner truth, and our wisdom. Hermit reverse for me it's coming up. It's asking, okay, so two things are coming to mind. Either there's some kind of block of that process for you of going within and connecting with that inner light and that inner truth, or you've already spent enough time there and it's actually ready to bring it out to the surface and take the next move on what is that inner light and inner truth. It's time to, it's like you've spent enough time kind of cycling over and over and over, it's time to bring it up and out. And, I think it's, it was at the bottom of the deck in connection to these cards, right? Of basically, what's the inner truth and inner knowing with this thing from the past that has something to do with your ultimate happiness. All right, moving on. Next deck, I've got the 10 of Wands reverse. And again, I've got the Hermit in reverse. At the bottom of the deck, I've got 6 of Cups. So 10 of Wands reverse is saying to me, 10 of Wands upright is going to be, you're at the end of a cycle. You're ready to lay down the burdens and let it all go and begin over again. You're ready to start a new cycle. And it's interesting because it came out reverse, which to me is also reflecting this Fool in reverse energy. Because in the upright, these are both new beginning energies. In the reverse, the 10 of Wands for me is asking you, Where do you have a block in letting go and moving forward? It's really important to look at that. And the fact that the Hermit reverse is coming up again. Is there something inside yourself you're not willing to see? Is there something inside regarding your truth and your guiding light that you're struggling with? Or have you kept it in too long? Have you sat on it too long, and maybe sitting on it too long is what's blocking the letting go of this burden? At the bottom of the deck, Six of Cups. This is the classic soulmate card of nostalgia, card of something, a connection, a nostalgic connection from the past. It was on the bottom of the deck, so it's kind of like what's in the subconscious that's affecting the present moment, or what's coming from behind the scenes that you don't quite see yet. This is interesting. Okay, so now in this new deck, I've got the Fool upright, and I've got the Magician. At the bottom of the deck, the Seven of Thunder. This is a new deck for me. And the Seven of Thunder. Thunder is light, so it's fire energy. Okay, so it's a Wands. Oh, Seven of, or, Seven of, it's gonna be Swords. Yeah, so it's gonna be the air, so it's Seven of Swords. Okay. So here we go. So in this deck, I'm pulling the Fool upright, and I'm pulling the Magician upright. So this is saying, to me, whatever it is that you're ready to start a new beginning in, know that you have everything you need inside of you to create your most optimal outcome. And it's really natural at the beginning of a journey to feel afraid, because you don't know what's behind this new doorway, right? Like when you step onto this new path, you don't, and you're letting things go, when you're finally willing to let go of the burden and step onto this new path. You know, we've all been there in that moment where it's like, maybe it could feel exciting and, you know, positive and exhilarating, but it can feel scary too, because, you know, it's the unknown. And that can be really scary for people, especially if the position you're in with the changes you're making are requiring significant changes. You know, it's one thing just to, like, you know, make a small change of like changing up your routine or something, which even that is a big deal, right? But it's like, I'm thinking like, you know, a more significant change could be something like, I'm realizing this job isn't the right fit for me. This home isn't the right fit for me. This neighborhood, this community, this relationship isn't the right fit, you know? And like, these are much bigger changes that can come with a lot more fear. But this Magician, it's saying you have all you need to create the path ahead. You have all you need within you. And the Fool upright is saying you just need to take that step. You just need to get yourself on that path. Sometimes making comfort with the unknown comes from letting go of attachments of what the outcome is going to look like. And that can be hard, especially with like these bigger changes that I was talking about. We can have natural attachments to the outcomes we want to experience, right? But sometimes it makes it easier actually to just fully let go and step onto the path when it's enough for us inside, in our relationship to ourselves and our own soul and our heart and our journey. Sometimes it can be enough for us to just know that whatever it is, I'm going to make the best of it. Whatever it is, whatever happens. And even if this is my optimal outcome, I know that even if it doesn't happen, this is the best direction for me so that my soul can grow in the way it needs. Because whatever this 10 of Wands, this is like one of 10 of Wands. This is like one of the heaviest burdens in the whole tarot deck. Whatever the block is to releasing that burden is holding, you know, like the inner dialogue could say something like, whatever that block is with that inner burden to letting it go, it's actually holding me back on my path as a soul, and it's creating more of a burden, and it's just simply not worth carrying anymore. So underneath the deck of that, the card at the bottom of the deck for that is the Seven of Thunder. And so in tarot, that's the Seven of Swords. And the swords is the air element. And so air in the tarot, it rules over our thoughts and our communications of all kinds, our perception. And the Seven of Swords, well, it tends to be a card that resembles parts of our human experience that can be kind of deceptive. And so, you know, deceptive is a strong word. None of us would want to admit that we are ever being deceptive. But if we're really honest, I mean, there's just certain times in life where we have to keep things closer to our heart, and we can't fully reveal our plan or our agenda, our strategy. It's a card of strategy. It's a card of strategy specifically that's happening behind the scenes. And, but it's also a card of being deceived by someone else. And again, deception it's, you know, similar to how I was saying at the beginning, you know, on the words of like forgiveness and unconditional love. Like, these are really pretty words for processes that are super deep and like will transform your soul, you know? Deception is like, it's such a heavy weighted, like negatively, a heavily weighted word with negative connotations. And if you're the one on the other end, on the receiving end of being deceived, it can feel really, really hurtful. But anyhow, this is definitely an energy that would require that work of forgiveness and unconditional love, and you know, where that's going to be your way out if this is an energy you've received from someone else. And then let's see, do a time check here. And then in the last deck here, I've got the Seven of Cups, and I've got the Two of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck, I've got the Seven of Pentacles. And so Seven of Cups to me is saying it's a really important time to decrease all distractions that are keeping you from focusing on the one thing that you know you really need or want. Lessen the choices, you know, and I think kind of going back to the first Hermit in reverse, I think this is kind of like go, you know, do the work to go within and get really clear on how to decrease the distraction and the amount of choices you have. Because a Two of Swords to me is saying it's time to make a choice. And you know, that character's blindfolded, right? So you're not going to make a choice from what you can perceive with your 5 physical senses. And you're not going to be, your choice isn't going to come from somebody outside of you telling you what to do. Your choice needs to come from within you. And you need to take one of those swords and you need to cut away a path that no longer serves you, so that all you are left with is one sword, because one sword in the tarot is the Ace of Swords. It's the Ace of Truth. And with that truth is what informs your thoughts and your perceptions, and therefore your communications about the new path that you're going to be carving and moving towards. The 7 of Pentacles is saying take a good, long, hard look at how far you've come. And, you know, this is like a fork in the road card for me. This is a card that's saying, really take a good assessment on how far you've come and what your investment has been. And this is a card, like I said, it's a fork in the road. It's either come to the conclusion that you're going to keep going on this path, and if you do, the best thing to do is just truly give it all you've got to master that path. Or the other direction in the fork in the road is you're just going to admit to yourself, you know what? I've put in all I can. I'm tired. This doesn't excite me anymore, and I need to lay it down. So that is your astrology and tarot reading for this Cancer full moon coming up. I hope it was helpful in some way. If this was helpful, I would just like to request that you please like or share or comment on this video. And if you are interested in my tarot readings or any other aspect of my work, you can find the information. I'll add it to the description box of this video, and you can find my website and all my information and contact from there. Thank you so much, and I wish you a beautiful Cancer full moon. Thank you. Bye.